So we were talking about advice. And so is there any advice that you could possibly give me as the coach of what do you need out of me in order to make you understand the game better or whatnot? Is there anything that I'm doing right or wrong?
I think you're a little harsh on Travis.
I'm harsh on Travis.
Sometimes.
Give me.
But
lay it all out.
But he needs it. That's the thing. Is that Travis needs a stern hand of this is bad, this is good. Like,
okay.
No offense to you, Travis, or anything.
We love you, Travis.
Like for me, like I don't know, like I get like I'm like a pretty like independent person.
Yeah,
I'd like to think, and so like when I first built like Air Torn, like I didn't ask for any advice.
Yeah.
And like I just kind of like stuck to myself, and then I came out like with my like sweet list. Shout outs to my sweet fog blanket list. You can check it out on the UFSU. You can check it out.
There's a profile on YouTube. I
Yeah,
like it. YouTube.com/UFSU. Yeah,
yep.
That's a good shout out.
But yeah, so that's like the first real deck I built by myself.
That's great.
Because we built Dave Wagner's air list together, and
Thanks, Dave.
He took that and he was like, all right, we'll cut these 2 cards and we'll throw in Wandering Pirates. All right, here's your Worlds deck.
If it ain't broke,
don't fix it. Right? Just make it better.
Yeah.
But I don't ask for like a lot of advice, and so like I've been like trying to like do that a little bit more of like, hey, like what do you think of my foundation count and stuff like that. I think because I'm relatively independent, not like collection wise, but just like my personality and like how I like to. I don't know. It like sounds. I don't like people like touching my things. Like in a sense, right? Like my deck's like my deck.
You worked on it. It's art.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Oh, this is so lame. I really feel like this game is artistic. Like as fucking lame as it is. Like to an extent, Jasco builds our decks. To an extent, but it's not like
right. Like here's character, here's 7 cards.
Yeah,
you can play these if you want.
You can, totally.
Or you can jump back to MK and just play a bunch of MK cards.
100%. Like you can play Dejanet as an evil desperation character. And
I played against that on Tuesday.
Yeah, you could totally do it. Or you could play it as a void discard character or an all draw character. And because she has 3 symbols, there's such a card pool inside of those symbols where like this symbol has all, and because it has earth and life, it does earth life things. But because it has all and chaos and void, it does chaos and void things. That like I can take an all deck and have 59 independent cards, and then have an all deck and have 59 another independent cards. Just never put it in the list under the same symbol.
So like that's something I like about this game. I think of each character as a tree. And just each different like deck variety is like, it's like roots.
Yeah, totally.
And like that's just how I picture like every character.
So like, when it comes to deck building, do you think that like having somebody help you build a deck? So like we sat down and we shopped Goro. We didn't like have a Dave Wagner list to of Goro to give you because stuff
Shout
has
out
been
to
rotating.
Dave Wagner, thanks.
Do you think that like that helped you as a player better than me just giving you a deck? This is for the people who have play groups and like Yu Yu Hakusho's coming out. Give me a who's the main character of that show?
That's Yusuke.
Give me a Yusuke deck. I have no idea. I'm a fucking dork.
I want to build a Kuwabara deck.
Bang! Got a finger gun. Speaking of which, if we don't have bang ! 2 dot in this game, it's fucking up Casco. Or if he doesn't have bang symbols, so he has his own bang, and you also get to bang, 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 bang.
Now the card should just be called finger guns.
Hell yeah!
And it's like him like smiling. That's what I think.
Man, I got a fucking 100 episodes of anime I have to get there before that's set.
I'm telling you, you should ask Alex, hey, can you give me a TLDR on Yu Yu Hakusho? I think you should watch the first fighting tournament, then the Tournament of Power, and then there might be a couple episodes in between. But I'll tell you, I watched the Tournament of Power 1 and 2, and then I watched after I watched those and like got a real gist of the show, I watched a couple of random episodes. Oh god.
Yeah.
It was like Bleach all over again. Like I'm just like plowing through this cornfield, like just trying to get to the end.
Never seen Bleach either.
Don't. There's like 4 good seasons.
Do you say that's okay? Yeah.
Don't worry, they're getting another season this year.
Oh boy,
fuck
what's
yeah.
season 12?
Jeff, back to the
We
original
started
question
before.
before we
Are you
start talking
sure?
about
Are
Yu
you
Yu Hakusho. Sorry.
That's hard to answer because I'm all for like, I think when I played Yu-Gi-Oh for a long time.
Yeah.
Hey, this is the Yu-Gi-Oh podcast.
Yeah.
By the way. I played Yu-Gi-Oh
It's
for a
back.
long time, and I think early when I was playing,
Yeah.
I had like a bad experience of like building my own thing.
Totally.
It didn't work at all like I pictured it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that like scarred me or not, but like I'm not the biggest like deck builder. I feel like I'm more of like a player. I know those things like some people might think that's like hand in hand, but I think that they can be separated.
They are I definitely would agree. Like I'm definitely a deck builder. Like in Yu-Gi-Oh, I would build like these super crazy decks from like throwing like 3 or 4 archetypes together, and then like in this game, like I took 3 characters, threw them together, and like that's my deck right now.
Yeah. See, I think that it's just a big Venn diagram, right? And it depends on how much of the Venn diagram you want to focus on. So like there was a while that so after Bebop, we talked about the Bebop spike, right? The Bebop, sorry, not spike, but Spike 2.
But yes,
We talked about the Bebop power creep a little bit, and the fact that like there was that entire, as soon as that came out, he had a jet deck that just like got him banned at locals. Like you cannot play that deck at locals. That deck is too good. We are trying to get these cards banned. Like if you're gonna take it to an event, you're gonna play it there. Don't play it at locals. You're gonna scare off new kids. Straight up. And there was a big outrage, and like, it was justified, but it wasn't justified because like they're legal in the game. Nut up or shut up, right?
Yeah.
But that's such a old, like hilariously old school martial art tendency. Oh, did you get knocked down? Stand up or get out. Like if you can't handle it, don't play. That's not.
Can't take the heat.
Get out the dojo.
Get
But like that's not a way that you get people to play your card game.
Yeah.
And so like there's this for a while I didn't have to build decks. Well, Jake is no longer a part of UFSU. He's gone to Legendary Wolf, and he doesn't really play test here anymore. So I've had to start building my own decks, and I've got new people coming in. I can't be like, hey, you fucking figure it out. And so like I've had to really start flexing my deck building again. But
flexing that brain.
I'm a pilot. You give me a pile of 60 cards, and I'll beat your ass with it.
Right. No. So like furthering that. So like I honestly I think I'm a pilot too.
Yeah.
But like after playing that Goro, like a couple days later, I went to UFS Ultra and fucking looked up some foundations that I thought could improve the deck.
Totally.
And some of them didn't work quite the way I thought they did. And others I still think might be a good idea for that deck. And
Yeah. That's kind of the thing with UFS is like every card's playable, but it really depends on the meta which it is playable. It reminds me a lot of like whenever Vanity's Emptiness came back. Welcome back to the Yu-Gi-Oh podcast. Like Vanity's Emptiness sucked. It was a $1 1-cent common.
Well, I want like a 5-cent short print.
I wiped my ass with that card.
Yeah.
Yeah, snorted cocaine off of it. Like there's that card didn't do anything. And
6
then
cents later,
it did, and it's a $5 common.
No. It was a $25.
Yeah, it's like you just card was gangbusters for the same way that like there was a card inside of Guile's support. What's the 1/5?
Pursuing Vendetta.
Pursuing Vendetta. That card had not been written on a deck list for probably at least a year after Street Fighter came out, and then they made Jeddah. And then everybody's like, oh shit, we gotta fucking play this card, huh? I'm not trying to get debuilt. If you debuild me one, I'm gonna build this thing in, or any sort of foundation destruction. No, like Agelson wise, that's mandatory in every deck now.
Yeah.
Like you have to play that card, and that card just like that card already existed. It was Pursuing Vendetta. Everybody plays like if you play in order, you play both of it because you can't get debuilt because the meta has changed, right? Or like there's a card called like Peaceful Messenger. Beautiful card. It was an Omni block. If you block this card, you take no damage. It's a 3 mid block. So 2/4 gave us speed or damage buff on board. The card sucks. You can't play that card anymore for the exact opposite reason. But like, there's going to be a meta where a like Flash Throw's gonna make a comeback, and people are gonna be like, I might have to play Peaceful Messenger again. Like, that's just how it is. And because we have so much happening all over the place, that it can be really hard to make decisions deck building. We had a topic on this a couple weeks back of what's the best speed hate. How do you decide what the best speed hate in the deck? Under Earth, there's like 6 cards that all say either reduce speed or return to printed. How do you figure that out? And as a new player, you just don't. You look at the 100, 300 cards that you get on Ultra under the Earth symbol, and you're just like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and yeah, looking at Ultra the very first time is like definitely overwhelming.
I think that would actually be really sick. Write this down, James. Navigating UFS Ultra. I like the interesting tricks, because like the way that I deck build on Ultra is I start with my character. I figure out what I'm gonna do, like who's beating your ass.
Who am I?
Because like that dictates the whole deck. And then I do action asset and / or attack. So it depends on like how am I killing you, and then what's the niche way that it's gonna happen, and then from foundations, I don't look at the foundation list. I go by difficulty. I click 0 and I look at all the 0 diff foundations. And the cards that I want to play, I put into 4-0s. The cards I don't want to play, I put into 1-0s. And it's like, this card is cool, it's 4-0. This card could be cool, it's a 1-0. And then I got a bunch of 4s and 1s in my deck, and I just go, oh, now my 1 diffs, 2 diffs, 3 diffs. And then I add it in that way, as opposed to standard all go. It definitely reduces the number of cards that I'm looking at, and it lets me compare difficulty of cards. Because there's a lot of issues that people have of like, this card does this, but it's a 2 diff versus a 1 diff. Like, which one should I have instead? I get to compare 2 diffs.
Okay.
So then you get to see the value of your 2 diff. You get to see the value. Like, I put out a whole page of 3 diffs. Well, I only get to play like 4 or 5 of you. So I get to now compare them, as opposed to see one, scroll 4 pages, and then see another one and be like, oh, that card's really sick too. When you put these 2 water cards together, if you put High Seas and High Seas Adventure and God of Thunder, and you get to pick one, sitting next to each other means that you actually have to pick. How do you feel about the keywords in our game?
I like stun. It's like definitely a double-edged sword. You know, like stunning your opponent feels really good. Getting stunned out does not.
Does not feel good.
But it's right. Like I think stun's cool. I love throw.
Yeah.
I love throw because like the only way to stop throw in a fighting game is by protecting the throw.
Yeah.
I cannot stand reversal. I absolutely cannot stand reversal. I'd like for you to play on your own turn, as this is my turn.
It's so interesting because like I'm just positive. I said it before. Reversal has like not been a very good keyword for a very long time.
Yeah.
Like reversal, like you'll die from a bad reversal. Like if you reversal poorly, you added 2 cards in your card pool, you're dead.
Yeah.
You discard an extra card. Sick. You did 6 damage to me and didn't get any real value. I'll do 40 more damage to you. Sorry. Like reversal, I think, is one of those fine arts you have to learn in this game.
Yeah.
That's like really advanced shit.
I don't like desperation. I just don't like that mechanic. But I complained about it earlier on this podcast.
Yeah.
I like Gauge as a mechanic for this new set. I think it's really cool. And I personally like Flash, and I think that Flash needs to be in the game. I think that Flash should stay in the game.
Is there anything so far besides, I mean, maybe even reversal? Is there anything that you think a keyword that shouldn't exist? A keyword ability, excuse me. Gauge, powerful, EX, Flash, throw. Is there any that you were like, we should probably get rid of that?
If I could just get rid of one thing, it'd be desperation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Desperation on Kaku Samba.
I agree.
There.
Get rid of that.
If I could get rid of one thing, it'd be desperation off Kaku Samba. Yeah.
Maybe just get rid of Cox Samba. But Jeff, you've done significant less playing. Is there anything keyword wise that you can? Let's forget Breaker. Is there anything keyword wise that
The
you feel?
defensive one.
No.
No, there's just nothing. Is it because of like you don't know enough about the keywords, or do you think that like? Because I think they're like one of the most interesting parts of the game is like the fact that we have all this short text keywords, but like with that short text keyword comes complexity, right? Is when I say gauge. Gauge 6. What does that mean?
Yeah, it doesn't explain itself. Like in Magic, it'll say like, oh, Shroud. This cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects. But it doesn't say stun. Your opponent commits X foundations for your stun rating.
We had that. We reset the camera. We had that on the starter decks for Bebop, and it was so fucking cool. If you look at the bottom of Cormorant, it tells you what Breaker 2 does.
Oh, that's
It does,
actually
yeah.
that's actually in a lot of even Bebop stuff in general. Arranging a deal.
So that is from the Vicious and Spike starter decks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so like
Okay,
it tells you what the keywords do. I think on every starter deck we should definitely do that for sure. Every keyword should be represented in the starter decks, whether it be one character or the other, and then just tell us what they do. I even think like honestly, Ryan, if you're listening, I think you could easily like put in one of those informational sheets on like how to play the game. You could easily throw in a keyword one.
Oh yeah, for
That,
sure.
that could be like a box topper pamphlet.
Speaking of the house catching
I didn't do that. I wish James Stevens would replace the lint filter.
I was going to.
What were we talking about? We were talking about UFS.
We were talking about the keyword
Keywords.
box stopper.
Keyword box topper. I think that's a really good idea.
For sure. I think, and what I think is, like, each box could have, like, a piece of paper maybe with, like, what's new to the game.
Yeah, I dig that. Here's, I think, the final question, and I think it's going to be the hardest question. What would you tell a promoter? What would you tell me would be helpful to get a new player to understand / want to play the game? So, let's say we've got a couple friends, us. We don't have access to all those cards. How do we get somebody else to play the game? How do you convince somebody? I love Yu Yu Hakusho, and I'm willing to order product through somebody, but I don't have a playgroup. As a new player, how would you start a playgroup?
How to start a playgroup as a new player?
It
It's
feels
pretty
impossible.
rough.
It feels impossible.
It truly is rough. And honestly, I feel like Chris Nixon could answer this question the best because of Naruto. 'Cause
Okay.
I feel like he brought and like raised that Naruto community out of nothing in a sense.
So, I get that, but like Naruto's like a really big brand.
Right.
And at the time, Naruto's fucking massive.
Yeah.
Everybody fucking ran with their arms behind their back.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, you mentioned Naruto card game.
Yeah, and then
Like people are
I'm
in
in
there.
there.
Yeah.
Do you think it's just like having decks of like cool characters for people to play?
I think it would have to be like, I'd have to have like a Guile deck, a Ryu deck, a Ken deck, and then like go outside a little bit and like pick up like a couple of Darkstalker character decks or something like that, and not necessarily make them the best, but to make them to where they could all beat each other.
Right. So, I mean, you just need that hook, right? Like, so maybe like maybe your group of friends aren't as interested in Yu Yu Hakusho as you are, but I don't know. Maybe they like Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat's pretty awesome.
Or like
yeah. So just these characters from all these games that you have access to, like maybe you need to just be like, oh yeah, there's a Mortal Kombat set.
What about learning the game itself? What do you think is required inside of a demo? Now, being so unbelievably new, what has mattered the most when it comes to like these first 3 times you play the game? Like, what matters to you?
So this is outside of the topic. I still think that there should be an interactive demo on Jasco's website. I still think that honestly that would be the best way for new players to come and learn the game, is by having the interactive demo that we talked about. Just like how Yu-Gi-Oh's done it, Magic's done it with the games that release on console and stuff like that.
You even have to do it through Hearthstone. The
Yeah.
first Hearthstone game you play is totally scripted.
Yeah.
You cannot lose that game. Maybe, I don't know. There might be an asterisk there.
But
You should not lose that game.
I think the first thing that I would teach somebody is the importance of foundations and having if you have a 5 hand size, having at least 3 foundations in your opening hand, or vice versa. If you have 7 cards in your hand, having at least 4 foundations in your hand, and then just teaching them how to play cards.
Yeah.
And then I think everything else comes after that.
I think the game's pretty straightforward. Like,
Really?
Yeah.
Like really?
Like, no,
For
seriously.
me, that's how I
like,
felt outside of
see,
keywords.
Cause outside, see, my thing. So your thing might be the keywords. My thing is it's always going to be the foundations. I still think that's like just the hardest thing to get down.
Oh, that's still hard for me. Like knowing what my opponent's foundations do.
Just playing cards is super easy, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, you describe. Okay, you play this card. This is the difficulty. You flip this card. This is the and this is how you play that card, and that's super straightforward in my opinion.
So like the way that I'm gonna start demoing stuff is whenever we play, we're just not even gonna worry with the foundations. Because like the real bread and butter of this game is how much it is like chess, where it's my enhances versus your enhances, my card text versus your card text, and because of the poker-esque back and forth of pass enhance, it is. I think your foundations should be there just to play attacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I'm excited for this GOAT format because the foundations aren't actually gonna do anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's perfect.
The attacks are just gonna be like I play an
then-
attack, ability here, stun 2. Go ahead.
And then once you have your play group going, you can like delve deeper. Like